Right, let's see what's going on in Diamond, shall we? We have a Hecarim versus a Karthus, full clearing style jungling, not as rewarding as it has been in the past, is what it is. We are about to enter the realm with a nerfed Smolder, and, Kog'Maw was pretty strong at the moment. Ahri's pretty good also, and obviously Sion's getting buffed as well. So let's see what kind of jungle landscape we have in the coming weeks. This guy, they're buffing the W quite nicely, so we'll see, what exactly that does to the win rates over the next couple of weeks as well. For Karthus, though, they're nerfing that Fiendish Codex damage, and they're nerfing the Doran's Blade interactions, they're nerfing the Doran's Ring interaction, they're nerfing Serrated Dirk. Damage early with these micro components is going down. So what that means for jungle is farming junglers should have a better time against those that wish to invade in cringe ways, like bel'veth ways and Graves ways. Now, the Ashe hits this onto the Karthus, and all of the good junglers in the room said, why? Why waste one? Not that, it's truly wasteful, but we all know exactly where Karthus is going. He's not ganking Karma level 2 and Ahri level 2. He's going to full sequence up. The Hecarim here is now 240 going to his red. Karthus is already halfway done with his red. Let's see what he finishes at, actually. Kind of curious. What Enigma finishes at, you absolutely must head over to Virkayu.gg. I have a free jungle improvement resource as well as a dedicated program where we have jungle video courses, jungle coaching VOD libraries, weekly free video content seen nowhere else, as well as Q&As and patch note rundowns, as well as a private jungle Discord. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's making junglers reach their goals, as we saw with the record number of people hitting them at the end of Season 13. If you want to climb faster than anyone you know, jungle diff every game you play, click the link below or head to Virkayu.gg. Pretty slow actually by Karthus' standards, but remember, there's the theoretical clearing speed that we all love, that's good, that's enjoyable, that you want to reach, right? But at the core philosophy of junglers is, can I beat the enemy jungler at doing the same thing, or do I need to get ahead of them doing another thing? In this particular case, even as a slower Karthus player, look where the Hecarim is. Like, you have that advantage, right? You have that lead. Now, I would like to do something about top lane, but the Yasuo kind of falls back off with the ward, baits out like he's going back to base. Here the Karthus has obviously not really used his control trinket or warding trinket. This is where I think things are kind of interesting. Let's just go back to where my brain's going, because it's clearly not going with my mouth. When you ward here early, you lose the potential of warding this, especially if you obviously have no Cosmic Insight. And the whole idea here, you're against a Hecarim. Is a Hecarim going to invade your red side and take your camps away? Unlikely. If I'm against the Graves and Nidalee, things like that, then yes, I use my ward here, perfect. But if I'm against another farming jungler who I know is going to farm down to the bottom side, save your trinket for this. I want to see what the Hecarim does on second rotation. That's what's most important to me. Now, while he goes ahead and does that one, the Hecarim goes into the tri-bush, has a look for the bottom lane gank, sees the wave bounce back a little bit. Kog'Maw's out of position here. Goes instead for the scuttle first. I do feel like we maybe could have gone in to this a little sooner. But here's the thing for laners. Please, you're a diamond. You want master tier, right? You're watching this to learn what your jungler did wrong. No, you did dumb. End of story. Your jungler's top side. You know Hecarim started top side. You know he's going to be on the bottom side. You know your jungler's going to be here. Don't go trading at 339 when you know the Scuttle Crab is just freshly being taken. So we go all the way in here, obviously, and sure, we win the trade. Sure, the Kog'Maw is in a decent position here, but the problem is, does he actually get the kill here? Why flash? Why flash? Well, cool, you're 2-1-0. But you still die to the Hecarim. And there's a very real possibility, and we all know this as junglers, that the Hecarim here gets 2 kills. And I think when the Hecarim gets 2 kills, and I'm busy full clearing and I get really nothing on the top side, I have to reset and come down here and do it again, cut it for the grubs, etc., etc., and the enemy jungler gets a free double kill, a free kill at all, it's very irritating. So I'm happy that Kog'Maw got 2 kills and feels like, I'm in the lead, let's go. But from a jungle perspective, I'm annoyed because the Hecarim has a better base than me, which now affects the tempo on the top side in terms of fighting, looking for prio, ganking, 2v2s, 1v1s, depending on your matchups. And I feel like that's a little bit of a rough situation. Always make sure you're paying attention to your pathing when the minion wave is pushed. Here, you got Yasuo shoving in, 5 minutes dinging on the clock. 5:30 to 6 minutes will be your level 6 spike for everybody. Hecarim, obviously, now we would see this. You're on your grump. You're going down. Okay, I see you're going to the wolves. Just had a lot of Master Tier Diamond level coaching sessions in the past week. And a lot of the time, it's pretty easy to predict. When you do this, I tell them, you know he's going to look back for the grubs. You have to decide, do I want to fight for them? Do I want to gank to take away that prior for them? Or do I want to give them up? You have to decide, based upon the game state, what you would like to do. So from our perspective here, we know Hecarim should have gone grump into the wolves. He hasn't shown to gank top lane yet, which means he could rotate up if he's looking for the grubs, but I look at the sign going all in the Yasuo. I want to gank this before the level 6 spike. Yasuo currently really damn close. He's trying to get into minion range here to get that, and obviously try and survive long enough for the Hecarim to rotate over, who we know should be showing up. Karma also leaves the mid lane there, and I cannot believe I'm saying this. It's the most Hecarim thing on the goddamn planet. What in the living hell spawn are you doing, sir? God, Hecarim junglers are the absolute worst in this game. What are you doing? Guys, you want Master Tier, right? Stop this. But your Karma's even leaving mid lane close to level 6 herself, which might not always be advised. But she's not doing anything to the Ahri. She has a bit of prior position. She sees you on the grubs. Why are we not helping out with this? And I think that's because the guy doesn't know that the 530 wave will give him level 6, so he is way too late to rotate. The Yasuo has done a really good job here of actually surviving for a very long time. You cannot write this up. You cannot write this up. This is so true. And now, this donkey is gonna think, hey, you know, I got some kills here, you know, I'm in a good position here. Look at me go for the Ahri here. Woo! Level 6. Guys, I'm Hecarim. I'm 4-0-0. I'm a good jungler. No, that was disgusting. No results-based kills here if you're Hecarim, because your Karma could have lived, your Yasuo could have lived potentially. You could have killed everyone before Ahri shows up. You get a 3-for-0 plus grubs. You're in the same situation, but your teammates are in better situations, and you get the objective now. You're just in a better situation. Now, you're fed, but your laners are compromised a little bit, and obviously this is a good turnout. Not good for the Karthus, but oof, it's painful to watch that kind of stuff. Now, from the Karthus' perspective, once you see the Yasuo start to move around like that, you know that the Karma is rotating. You should be tracking this. Your eyeballs should be on that, not looking at the webcam and so on. But I don't really feel that you should see that gank all the way through. I like this invade as a general point. I'm smiling because I'm gonna go back in a second. He should die here now. Hecarim moment. Look, you got mid prior, fantastic. Bottom lane shoved in, fantastic. The Karthus is not going to be doing the dragon with his bot lane at this particular stage. He wants level 6. He's also going to go for the RNG Skeleton to make sure he gets that away from you, and then falls back to a camp here, which will categorically give him level 6. Now, you could justify potentially doing the blue and the Grumble getting level 6 before you go for the Scuttle Crab, but why give away free objectives, Scuttle Crab, which gives the Hecarim free damage from his passive? So we take that away, we fall back into our jungle. Now the Hecarim says, right, I'm level 6. I know that the Karthus should be in the vicinity here, sequencing up, taking his camps. So I'm going to go for the invade. I like this play a lot. Because the first buff invade, whether you're invading against blue, red, or you're doing this over here, usually it's because you have 6 and they don't, and you can abuse that to some degree. The problem is, as we see, the Kog'Maw's moved up, the Rakan's moved up, the Ashes hit a Hawkshot, that's great, but now you're in a situation where if we swap the vision toggle, you're 3v1. So you're going to kill the Karthus here, which is fantastic, but now you're 4v1 in theory if Karma doesn't rotate, because obviously Karthus dies, now you're 3v2. Your bottom lane have just gotten back to lane, they're not yet level 6. Why are you forcing this? If Karthus is truly on this, with your bottom lane, sorry, with the enemy bottom lane, and your bottom lane is just arriving back to turret, I don't really expect this much I can do. So what I'm more incentivized to do from the Hecarim here is Raptors into Krugs, into syncing up with my bottom lane, having a look. If the Hawkshot hits and they're on it, then I can time it in my head, think about it if I want to steal, think about if we want to contest, but I still want to loop back and contest with my bottom lane as a unit, right? I don't want to run in, numbers disadvantaged, get a kill but die, especially if I have shutdowns and things like that. So now he comes out of base. Waffling. Really wants to do the dragon because he presupposes that the Karthus will be on the top side. Just because, right? It makes sense. There's no blue. There's no objective top side. Ahri decides to contest for some particular reason. There's no reason for Ahri to contest as little laners. If your jungler isn't in this position, please. Oh, she lives. Please don't contest things that we don't want to contest. If we are honestly giving up that dragon, those heralds, those grubs, please just assume that we don't really want to do them. And move on with your lives, like we are. And in terms of the Karthus, I much prefer actually still going bottom to top here because it allows me to counter jungle the top side. And now you're saying, well, you don't know where he's going. I don't really know where the Hecarim's going. But this way, I expect most junglers in Diamond to still think about the objective side. I have now determined, if I'm the Karthus, that I need to get 6. Well, I have 6, but I need to play this game a little bit more passively for now. I need to farm up and get that advantage. If I path here down, right, and he takes a dragon, I get absolutely nothing. Nothing to do whatsoever. I can't even invade this at all. I also can't counter jungle at all, right? So I'm a little bit stuck. If obviously he does go top side and he paths down, well, guess what? I'm arriving here, but he's going to arrive here as well. And now we got to fight, and I don't want to fight. So if I go bottom side up, what that means is if he goes top side down, sure. He might get this uncontested. Sure, he might try and dive my bottom lane. Maybe I can do something to the top lane. Maybe I can get division. Maybe I can set up for the grubs. Maybe I can gank this if it's a better lane. Maybe I can gank mid lane, right? I can do all of these things without thinking about the Hecarim at all. Also, if he does go down to the side and I'm up here, nice. Now I get a whole quadrant counter jungling. So while the first option isn't very sexy and feels a bit like the other options, this option here is the highest payout in the entire game. 3 quadrant control, sets me up for grubs. Maybe I can gank top lane as well. Maybe I can still gank mid lane. Trading it for dragon that I can't fight over anyway. No brainer in my opinion. So I might have done this. And also, if you do this, you prevent yourself from the Hecarim coming out of base and trying this again. From the Hecarim coming out of base, doing dragon and running at your camps again, which you could do right now, into your face. And you just deny the counter jungling in general. So that's my 2 cents on those strategies in this particular situation. Karma is holding the mid lane. Karthus says, I'm going to hold it. Hecarim now decides afterwards to sequence to the top side. Obviously cuts out the Krugs. Right play because we want to get the grubs. Now Karthus, because he did that, is out of mana. Going down to his Grump, all nicely warded up as we can see. The Hecarim sees everything, sees him going back to base, knows he's going top to bottom, says, well, if he's coming back to the top side here, Sion's really weak, I should go and use my ult and get that kill, which of course we do. Now the Karthus is coming to the top side, but Ahri's going back to base, chunk full HP. Karma has prior, Yasuo has prior, you can't even do the grubs. You're not in a position to take an objective, you're not in a position to gank, you're not in a position to do anything. You're being useless. And it all started by going for this gank, good decision, and instead of just calling it, and noticing the Karma and playing it a bit safer and just swapping sides, going back down to the bottom side, doing the dragon. While he does this, you cannot jungle him. We take a long fight, we die, and honestly, the Hecarim should have made it, Hecarim should have made it end a lot sooner, but he wanted to finish the grubs. And now because we did the grump out of sequence, it's not really the best, that's a good gank. Not really the best situation for the Karthus as the Hecarim now says, hello, good sir. Ult is up again. Gets a kill. And now is trying to run, but cannot. Yeah, you know, I get why you want to do these things as the Hecarim, but please, ideally, don't do that too much. So, now we're in a pretty terrible laning state because Ezreal got 5 plates. And has now moved to the top side to take more plates. We need to go to the bottom side. 2 camps are up. We're out of sequence with the rest of our entire map. Yasuo swapped around as well. Goes in on the Kog'Maw. Is able to most likely kill him already. This is snowballing out of control for the Karthus. And a lot of those things we've discussed why. So what do you do if you end up in this situation and it's out of your control? Laners are just losing. You've tried to make the right plays. It's just doomed. Control your own camps. Rotate the free kills that you can get, obviously. Make sure you're maximizing and hitting your Q. Don't use your E unnecessarily. And obviously use your smite if you need to. Like, just use your smite, get the kill. It's easier to hit your Qs. Cool. Right, that's it. Most importantly, just control your camps. Get deep vision. You want wards here. You want wards here. You want wards here. It's likewise here. Really, the only 2 places you truly need them are in this bush and this bush because you should see everything. You can put a little deep here as well just in case a hippity-hoppity to the wall. Those are possibilities also. Ashe Era goes to Narnia. But the Hecarim hasn't played necessarily intelligently. You know, he's gotten the benefit of the map. And in other closer games, he gets nothing for his decisions. He dies and he loses. The Karthus, on the other hand, probably loses a lot more than he wins with this kind of playstyle. You've got to understand farming tempo relative to the enemy jungler. You've got to understand when you cannot win 1v1. And on that note, the Hecarim doesn't seem to realize that it would be that close. And I'm not a fan of running at the enemy jungler and killing a 1v1. Because Karthus will keep getting stronger. Karthus will do a lot of damage. And he has exhaust, right? So, problem is you're being really pushed in here really quickly. But they're going to stall nicely because you do have a Karma, you do have an Ahri. But it's tough. Because your quadrants aren't in control either. So, here I do like to catch waves. I would not go here and face check until we got some vision down. There we go, with the Rakan, good. Yep, have a probe, nice wards. Go topside, give it up, nothing we can do. That's why there's early dragons. You can give these situations up and not die, you get a free dragon. If you give up this dragon, maybe you get the grubs. Yeah, it's about trade sometimes. Because a trade early is better than giving everything up later. You know, especially if you're contesting stuff. Obviously here, he, I guess, didn't see the Ash Hawk shot. And he wants the Herald, but you're probably going to have to give up the Herald, guys. You probably just have to give it up. So what do? Shadow my mid lane. Push a turret. Go kill Yasuo over pushing. Try and do something that gives you golden experience that doesn't cost you too much. Because the Hecarim are not strong enough to kill your bottom lane 2v1. Alright? And it is irritating. And it is your bottom lane's fault because they did it level 3 when all in knowing Hecarim was there and he gets a free kill for that. But at the end of the day, still on you to sequence properly and play around what happens on the map. So, interesting. Interesting discussions. But this is the worst place to be as a Karthus. Not yet level 11. We'll get it here on this wave. No camps to farm. Darkness in the jungle. No vision control. Waiting for camps to spawn. Oh, it's horrible. If you're in this situation, I know in Diamond and Master Tier the inclination is to blame your laners. And sure, to a degree, it is more so true than sometimes in other elos. But there's always something you could have done. End of story. There's always something you could have done. Obviously, it's warded here. We're going to exhaust the Karma. I see the Hecarim on the bottom side. I see the Yasuo on the bottom side. We saw the bottom lane there as well, so we know we're free to go for this. Now push, 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 push. Because obviously here, what are you going to do to hold this? Not much in time, right? What are you going to do to hold this? The whole team is there. So now you have an opportunity to grab a bounty. Push, especially if you're an AD champion. Go. You have your ult up currently, and you can use that. They've got this already. Push, get a turret. Go take his jungle. Take a look in his jungle here. Take some camps if they're available. Have a look for whatever golden experience you can get. Especially if you know they're all here and they're activating the heralds, not much you can do. So if we push this a little bit, we move into here, we have a look, we see the herald activated. Now you can ult preemptively to chunk them a little bit, to deter them from going for this play. You can also go back to base and hold. What he did was, he didn't push enough, dawdled around, got some Krugs that he could have gotten anywhere afterwards, and didn't get here in time to stop the push. And so that's the whole point of split pushing there. You're not split pushing, you're just pushing, so it's easier for the Scion to grab this turret. Alright, hopefully, maybe, it's possible. Karma TPs, alright, we don't get it. Cool. Go back to base, use your ult, and so on. But it's the intent that's important. Most junglers will not. They'll just get the kill here, go back to camp, go back to base. They don't think about pushing that map forward to actually get these good results in a negative game state. In this situation, you need a scanner. I don't know why we have this. Honestly, you could go blue trinket as well. But I would not really be face checking this. It's a very brave man. You know, there's a reason that me releasing that how to carry all lanes losing, how to carry when all lanes are losing in 2021 as a questionnaire video was with Karthus. Because he's the best at being able to exude these principles of coming back into games where you have game states like this. And he's just done none of them, really. Maybe I should re-release one for the modern game state, but this kind of stuff is what makes you not climb, right? Because, I don't know, hubris, arrogance, delusion, all those things, and just not in a position to control the game flow. And again, the Hecarim is 10-4-2, I get it. I get it, it's frustrating. But why are we face checking again when we know they have control? The best thing in these situations is to sit tight, not walk into blind zones, hold waves, use wards with your Scry's Blooms, wait for them to tilt into you by making one bad play, and then you get your kills. Now here, this fight's going to work was going to until Ezreal hit that. because we had numbers advantage. But if we're so far behind that they can do this to us, it's not good. Because look at his build here. He's already got the Force of Nature. And he doesn't have the entries. Why does he not have, like, we didn't even talk about items. These items are just astronomically shit. Just go to the entries. Why are we building this kind of stuff? Like, this just makes no sense either. So your itemization is important in these negative game states because whatever you do have has to work for you. You have to be very laser focused on what items you're going to build in negative game states against who you're facing. Because here a Void Staff plus a Leandries plus a Death Cap, the classic combo is going to do massive amount of works for you against that comp right now. But we're compromised. And again, yes, this death to the Hecarim from a bottle lane is not our fault. But this one, that is. You know, here he runs at us and kills us. Here he runs at us and kills us. Not much we can do in these situations. But I feel like if we improve the pathing in general, we avoid those situations more than we have them happen to us. And sure, it will happen to us, but the punishment should be extreme if he does it. If he runs at me and kills me, it should cost him. But I do 100% categorically believe if we just started bottom side and went up, and he goes for this, right? We get a whole bunch more on the top side, and maybe we can offset some of his leads. So that's kind of what you're looking to do. Obviously, as you get into this elo range, you see they do the Baron. Now they're sieging again. Like, you really have to hold on as best you can. But the problem is that they've wasted too much of the chill time dying. They've wasted too much of the farm time dying. Like, you almost want the inhib to be taken so you can farm it up. But they kept dying over and over again, which means they're not getting econ. They're not holding waves. The waves are dying to turrets. The blue team can just push and deny. That's a crucial thing when you're behind like this. But the Hecarim gets fed with psychopathic gameplay and a bit of luck, right? And he made a few good reads, but I still think the guy jungled terribly, but that's what Hecarim players do and what Hecarim allows them to do. And Karthus is obviously not, you know, some Astra 1v9 at this particular stage. Good in Challenger, sure, but you need to know what you're doing with the champion, and you need to know how to play in these game states. Really, I would like to talk more about this, but look at this. They're farming supers, which is fantastic. No kills from any side. They're farming supers, they're farming supers, they're farming supers. Soul is up, that's why, again, the Dragon's important, the Grubs are important, Herald's important. We had 0 objectives. Ash Arrow misses. We're just trying to hold as much as we can. It's all you really can do. Soul is granted. And basically, it's going to come down to one final stand. And we're down 11,000 gold. And all you can hope is if you're down 10,000, 15,000 gold at that, 21-minute mark, the game's probably over. But you could definitely hold out for one final stronghold. But the problem is you've given up too much. And in this elo range, when you give up too much, it's really tough to come back in these situations. I understand not FFing, maybe they make a boo-boo, but they didn't, blue team. They played reasonably well. But at the same time, you gave them the free closing, right? You just stepped up to the wrong position. They got free kills to snowball, and that's it, really. Now, you have to hold, don't make it like pro play. You actually have to do something, but these are the worst losses, because it feels like you just get slowly run down, and you don't actually control things, which is true. I mean, categorically, like, if we jump back in time, let's see. We're down 13,000 odd gold. Now we're down, if we go back, 8,000 gold, right? So that's just in the last 8 minutes. Understandable considering that they were going to try and close. But if we go back to 10 minutes, before the first turret fell there, we're down 4k gold already. But this is recoverable if we make the right decisions. And I explained why I thought those were the right decisions. Now we go back to the Dragon. We're only down 2k gold, which again, at this particular stage is huge. Now, what if we swap directions and we counter jungle, which would have been the case because we would have seen him on this, right? Like, he's on this one. So I get to take these things. Yasuo obviously shows up in wards thinking that's what's going to happen. That's where you can watch the rotations as well. But in theory, that's the idea. If Yasuo rotates and Karma rotates, cool, I'll leave, right? But they have to leave the lane to do that, which gives advantages by proximity to your laners. And sometimes you end up in shitty situations where you can do nothing. That's what losing games is. But if I'm going to lose this game as Karthus slowly, and there's really nothing I can do personally, it's one of the 20% where you can do nothing about it. I want it to be with me getting ace, doing the most damage, atomizing well, and stalling them to 30 minutes if I can, just in case they make the throw moment, and making the right decisions throughout the way. So if you do that, I think you'll win some of these games, but obviously these are the tough ones. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into, I guess, diamond level jungling. See you in the next one.